Well, hello, friends. It's Steve from the Oneness Project, which Sharon, I'm doing this all by myself. Sharon's got such a lovely apartment with background. I tried to get some flowers going. Here we go, some plants. I just got a little place here in Edmonton. If any of you are from Edmonton, let me know. We can go for coffee or something. Wow, we've been doing a lot of videos lately. Yeah, some 20 viewers, something like that every time, and I'm just happy to get one. If one person wants to watch us, that's fantastic. What I wanted to talk about today is something that was come up a lot in our videos, and it's something that I struggled with, and in some ways still do, but not much anymore. And that is living in offense. This living in offense is a very difficult thing to wrap our heads around, I find. It was difficult for me to wrap my head around. I should say that. Why am I saying our? I don't know. Maybe it's not to you. Removing offenses from our life. People will say, well, yes, I forgave that person. Okay, that's fine. But are we still offended by them? Am I still having anger towards that person? Am I still wanting to remove that person completely from my mind because of the stress or distress that it may cause? Living without offense, this is a cool thing. First of all, do you want to? Do you want to live without any offenses? We all want peace, right? Every one of us want peace. Nobody wants a headache. Nobody wants to be fatigued or, fatigued might not be the right word, weary, weighed down by problems, especially with people or people that have done something mean to you or hurt you or what have you. Now, quite often what we will do to acquire that peace is we will remove those people from our lives and from our minds, or try to, which is pretty much impossible to do. We can say we have, but it won't happen. We try to even move away from people completely. The answer I found is not in or vengeance is another way of doing it. Have that person feel the same pain as you, then I'll feel all right. As long as I know they felt the same pain as me, as long as I know they felt the same pain as me, then I will feel justified. That's a great word. Or justice. People call it justice. I've known a lot of people, shouldn't say a lot of people. I've known of people that have had their children hurt badly, and sometimes not people that I knew, but have been aware of people that had their children killed and all sorts of things. And they struggled a long time to get justice for their child, maybe in the form of capital punishment or 25 years in prison or what have you. And almost all of them, if you talk to them a year afterwards or whatever afterwards, they will say that it did not provide the peace that they thought it would. And it won't. Because the only way we can find peace with people is by not being offended by their actions. Not having offense. Not becoming angry. Not becoming vengeful. Not wanting them to hurt or however, or anything of that nature. I discovered this. Now, when I discovered this, I also thought in my mind, well, that's impossible. So I suppose we are just meant to live in these depressions or what have you because of things that have happened in our past, or because something is happening right now. Somebody is aggravating you, or trying to harm you, or at least feel like they're trying to harm you. But living with no fear whatsoever is an aspect of it. But living with no offense is partly living with no fear. Something in me wouldn't stop trying to come to this place of peace and not living in these offenses. I had offenses with my father. Okay, I have forgive my father, I said. I forgive my father. Because it was sort of a way of saying, I know I have to forgive him, so if I say the words I forgive him, then I can move on. But I didn't. At least subconsciously, things would come back that remind me of my father. Or I'd say things like, and it's not that my father's horrible, don't get me wrong. There's other people in my past too, bullies, all kinds of stuff. I would say things like, I am like this because of that. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be in this situation or that situation or what have you. And then as you have seen through my videos, I came to this knowledge of the oneness of all humanity through the Bible myself. And like I've said many times, if you've come to this realization, I watch, his name just left me right up Alan Watts. I watch and listen to a lot of Alan Watts. He came through this understanding through Buddhism primarily, by the sounds of it. I have studied Buddhism to a certain extent, but my main focus has been through Christianity. So if you've come to this similar type of concept through another religious source or spirituality source, please let me know, because it's encouraging to me to see it, found in all areas of where humans have been formulating their concept of God or spirit or what have you. So I found it through Christianity, and the first way I found it was through the understanding, through removing myself from the understanding of what evangelicals believe today, that people live eternally separated from God. I started realizing that this was what Paul said, a mind thing. We believed we were separated, but God is in all, through all, and everything. So that couldn't be, and I really started delving towards that. I came to an understanding of universal salvation, that all people will eventually come to the truth that Jesus is Lord as far as the Bible is concerned, however that means. So that was freeing. But it even went further as I started to study more into the Greek and Hebrew scriptures, and realized, and expanding into Buddhism and something called science of mind. And what this science of mind was, a fellow named Ernest Holmes, who through scripture himself also came to the exact same realization that we are all one mind. One mind, which is universe, if in his vocabulary, created all. There was the God, the source, created universe, which we are all part of the one universe and are one in each other. In fact, we are all each other. And this stemmed further now that I've met Sharon into the realization that we have done all things. Everything that has been done, we have done. Because any person who has done it is us. So we can bring to our consciousness a relationship or a relatability with anything that has been done if we allow it to. In this way, we can break all offenses and have peace, which is love and all of those things. And through that, we can now respond to those harming us in a way that has no offense whatsoever, which leaves us with no anxiety. which is really what this video is about. Would you rather be offended by others? Being offended by something, being angry at what had happened to you in the past or what somebody is doing, trying to get vengeance or saying that person can't do that or shouldn't do that or whatever, that causes you to, look at my fist here, that kind of, you can have that. You can keep that if we can keep that if we want. I can keep that if I want. I don't like to say I'm pointing my finger at you. I did it. I held on to that myself. It's only through the release of that we will find peace, though. So which one do we want? That's the question that's asked. Do we want our personal peace over the vengeance or, what's the word, trying to get justice, even up the playing field, consider people evil, consider people terrible, consider people losers, all of those things like that? The truth is that isn't the case. First, and second, believing that that's not the case helps our peace immensely. It removes almost all anxiety. Then you just have fear of death and all of those things like that. And if you watch our videos, we go through all of those things. But even actually having an offense with people is a fear of death as well, because having an offense on somebody is believing that they have done something to give you lack in your life, personal life, that you are not able to do something. They have stolen time from you. There's one of the things, and that's not true. Time is eternal. Time is for all time. We can start right now, living in the present and continuing in our path for what is bringing us the greatest joy, which I highly recommend Joe Dispenza in his teachings for that. But we can't do that in offense. We are not able to live in our most ultimate joy if we are offended by those around us, whether they are Trump followers or liberals or right-wings or abusers, any kind of thing you could possibly think of. Would you like to live with no offense of that? Now, does that justify the actions? Sort of. It just puts us in a realization that we are those people. And also, when we acquire this peace, when we choose the peace, we come to the realization that those that are in that peace of lack of offense would never act like that. It's not possible. It's not possible to act like that in that peace. So we can have empathy with those that perform those actions, because if they knew the peace, they would choose the peace. So I ask you, do you choose the peace? When there's things rolling around your head about what your mom did or what your dad did or what your partner did or your ex did or whatever, which one do you choose? The vengeance or the peace? Well, that's it for me today, boys and girls. Friends, thank you very much for listening. If you listened all the way through, also hitting the subscribe and the bell helps an awful lot. So bringing this algorithm out to people. If you have any conflict with what I'm saying, please go down in the comment section. I would really love to hear from you. I really love to hear your opinion on what I'm saying. If you agree with it, it's encouraging for us to hear comments and likes and all of that as well. Encouragement's good, right? It helps us continue in this fine programming. Have a great day, everybody. Lots of love to you.